Oh, what to film about? What to film about? I feel like I want to do a TV show, but like I did Survivor, so maybe a more like episodic TV show. Fallout, I've already watched all of Fallout. Shogun, I talked about Shogun. It might be getting a season two. I feel like I'm too late on the Baby Reindeer Netflix kind of hype train. I haven't watched that yet, and I feel like again the hype train is kind of gone for me. What can I? Do you hear that? Oh, the doctor's back. That is right. Today, on Disney Plus, the new home for Doctor Who from everywhere outside of the UK, we had our first two episodes of this newly dubbed season one of Doctor Who. Now, this is still a continuation of all the other Doctor Who storylines and type of characters and type of ways. That means the Doctor that was in the 1960s, the first Doctor, and everything that happens after that is still things that are affected to our Doctor, played brilliantly, in my opinion, by Judy Godwa, the 15th Doctor. And I've been excited for this day. I'm somebody who I really enjoyed the 60th anniversary specials, especially the giggle that featured David Tennant returning as now as the 14th Doctor and Catherine Tate. I thought the Christmas special that had Judy Gatwa and Millie Gibson, who's the new companion Ruby Sunday, was really good with the church on Ruby Road. And well, today we got delivered two episodes to begin this season in Space Babies and The Devil's Chord. And we're going to talk about each one of them individually, but I just got to say, it was fun having Doctor Who kind of back. I kind of never checked out after Peter Capaldi's Doctor. I should have given Jodie Whittaker's Doctor more of a chance, but I was so tied to both Clara Oswald and I really wish we got another season of Peter Capaldi that I was really sad to see him go. But man, after those specials kind of came through, after Russell T Davies came back, the original show director of the new Who series, when it came back after its hiatus, I really got back in and I got excited. And I have to say, there's some good to talk about in these first two episodes. There's some bad to talk about with these first episodes. But overall, Doctor Who is back. And I think for anybody who likes kind of easygoing, fun sci-fi shows, this is good and happy. I think this is an easy thing to watch and enjoy. Now, the first episode, Space Babies, is really kind of an introductory pilot. This is the first really season on Disney Plus. There's a lot of referential stuff to both in both these episodes, but definitely the first one to the church on Ruby Road and a lot of and some of the 60th anniversary specials. So might want to check those out in order. But I also think there's a lot of in this first episode, Space Babies, where it's kind of acting as a pilot, telling all of us who the Doctor is, where he's come from, and what exactly is he meant to be, or what type of individual he is. And while I think Space Babies plot is a little bit more basic, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, on the side, that some people may call it more of a filler, I think it does the idea of introducing the Doctor to hopefully a new audience through Disney Plus that aren't known much about Doctor Who in the past, and does the basics explaining. He's the only person alive of his type. He is a time traveler around the world who can go basically wherever he may so please. And this version of the Doctor, the 15th Doctor, is a little bit more free-flowing and fun. He doesn't have the pain and the overbearing weight that we saw in a lot of the new Who Doctors, whether it be the first run of David Tennant, whether it be Matt Smith. He's much more energetic. He's much more lively. And I kind of like that off the bat. You get that tone. You get that freedom feel of him. He feels his own way, and it feels like a kind of a new show in its own right. Now, what I will say about this first episode is there's a few things I didn't like. The Space Babies talking as humans the animations on their face didn't quite work for me. It felt very, weird, and I don't mind weird things. Doctor Who is a show kind of like Star Trek: The Next Generation, which is going to have weird type animations or weird creative practical effects or practical costumes, and I like that. But the baby's mouths moving just didn't really seem very natural, and it was one negative side. But overall, I sat around this episode wondering, when are these babies going to turn evil? And as somebody would tell me,
Spoilers.
thanks, River, we're not going to go into spoilers here, so you'll have to watch the episode to find out. But I think as the episode moves on with these space babies, we're able to see the Doctor and Ruby Sunday kind of get to know each other a little bit more, and we really get to see what the Doctor feels and who he is as a person. He makes a stand in this episode, a very moralic stand that fits the character of the Doctor, that I think is important to include in what was kind of like the first episode of a brand new series and season on Disney Plus. So overall, I'm going to give Space Babies, because it's a little bit less, story filling. A lot of it is just giving a lot of exposition on what we're getting into. A solid gold score. I was entertained. Outside the little baby's mouths moving, I thought the story was, while basic, I thought was pretty well done. I really like there's a moment where the Doctor steps up and has one of his moralic moments, and I appreciate that, and I think it's important to the character of the Doctor and for everybody understanding who the Doctor is and what he stands for. But let's get into what I think is the highlight episode of these first two, and that is The Devil's Chord. The Devil's Chord, I will say, you should probably go back and at least watch the giggle from the 60th anniversary special, because it is very much referenced and important to the story that's taking place in The Devil's Chord. Jinx Monsoon plays Maestro, and they own this character in this role. And part of me wishes Maestro and the story might have went beyond one episode or a little bit more in depth, but I love everything, kind of the lore around Maestro, where, who Maestro is and all the different effects when it comes to music and how they're affecting the world. I love the effect Maestro has on the Doctor. I think Gatwa does an excellent job showing a terrified face, showing a face that he is not ready for this type of individual. And I do like this continued theme that we saw take place from, the giggle and on, in terms of who the Doctor may be facing and how they may be different than what he's faced in the past. One thing that also I didn't comment on in the first episode, but also plays in here, they're definitely continuing a mystery around Ruby Sunday. And I think Millie Gibson's performances in both episodes as a companion were very well done. She's maybe, coming into her own. These are her first chances to get in there. I don't think she's jumping out as much as, say, Rose did early on with Billie Piper, but I definitely think she has that Amy Pond type feel on type mystery, which, again, I appreciate as the season goes on, and they keep making it an important factor in at least most of these episodes in the season. It's a storyline I'm looking forward to having a resolution, and there are things that take place, and you'll know them when you watch the episodes, of why Millie Gibson's Ruby Sunday is important and where they may come from. There's also a lot of references to what we might be seeing in the future for the 15th Doctor's journey, including some of his past life stuff, and I appreciate that as well. But again, going back to the Devil's Chord, again, the Maestro, played by Jinx Monsoon, really owns the screen, really brings a flair and danger to Doctor Who with the type of adversaries he might feel, that I think works really well as a second episode. I do think this episode is a little bit baity and switchy. I know a lot of us going in are expecting this to be the Beatles episode, and while the Beatles do have a small appearance in here, it is nowhere near as good or as well done as, say, something like Vincent and the Doctor. But I don't think this episode was trying to be that way. It was very clear that the conflict this episode was between Maestro and the Doctor, with Ruby Sunday, being there as well, kind of being the partner in crime for the Doctor. And again, I thought the storytelling was decently well done here. I thought the acting, especially from Gotwell, was pretty strong here. I think Jinx Monsoon was an amazing character and really owned the screen and will be a remembered character. I don't know if we'll see Maestro back anytime soon, but if we do, it'll be very fun and exciting because I think, Jinx Monsoon owned that role. They did an amazing job, and I can't say enough on how much they owned the screen and gave just very charismatic energy to that character and making it feel wild. Overall, though, I'm going to give the Devil's Chord episode a solid platinum rating. This isn't what I would consider a classic for Doctor Who. I don't hate it, though. I think it's a very strong episode. It's really engaging. It's something that if I was watching this brand new, first episode, okay, that's kind of cool, interesting. Second episode, I like this and I like the interesting dynamic of it and how it feels. I would come back and check out this third episode, which I think is called Boom, which with the next time clip, I think next week's episode, which is written by Stephen Moffat, who was a past showrunner during the Matt Smith era, wrote a lot of classics like Blink for Russell T Davies and the first time they went around. That comes out next week, and I think that episode, just thinking about that premise, has the classic Doctor Who symbolism of an episode that might be displayed as one of the an all-time great. But we'll have to wait a week to see that. But overall, I say these first two episodes of Doctor Who this new season went well. I would recommend watching all the specials first and then jumping into this new season because I do think there's a lot of important details that you learned, especially at least at minimum watch the giggle all the way down to the Christmas special, Church on Ruby Road, and then jump into Space Babies and the Devil's Chord. I would do those four main episodes. I think that will tell you exactly, the main story arc and the story thread of where we're at with Doctor Who in this beginning of this new season. But overall, big success for me. Big recommendation for me if you like kind of whimsical, fun, timey-wimey sci-fi type stuff. I love that it's on Disney Plus because it's a little bit easier for me to watch in real time. And again, the Doctor's always out there. See you next week.